If you grow vegetables, you know this problem. Squirrels dig it up, rabbits eat it, birds pick it apart, and before you know it, your garden is gone. In this video, I'll walk you step by step through how to build this simple DIY movable garden shield that protects your plants. Here are the tools and materials you'll need. Tools include a 16-foot measuring tape, PVC pipe cutter, black marker, cordless drill, an 11/64 drill bit, and a 1/8 inch drill bit for pilot holes. For materials, you'll need 7 1/2-inch PVC pipes, 8 elbows, 8 tees, 4 pipe straps, PVC primer and cement, a 12 by 16 foot section of netting, a Guardsman garden hoop kit, and black spray paint. This setup is designed for a 4 by 8 raised bed. If your bed is larger, add more PVC and tees. A good rule is a tee about every 4 feet, plus a short vertical support pipe to keep the frame from sagging. The first step is to measure your raised bed carefully. Start with the full length, then measure the width. These measurements will determine how much PVC pipe you need and where your support pieces should go. Taking a few extra seconds here helps make sure the frame fits correctly when you start assembling it. Now that we have our bed measurements, it's time to mark the PVC pipes for cutting. For the beginning of this video, we purposely used larger than 1/2-inch PVC so you could clearly see how everything is assembled. In the real world, you will typically use 1/2-inch PVC or larger pipe depending on how sturdy and heavy you want the structure to be. Measure and mark each pipe where the cuts will be made so the frame pieces fit together correctly. Along the longer sections of the frame, plan to add a PVC tee about every 4 feet. These tees allow you to add vertical support pipes to help prevent the frame from sagging. The height of those vertical supports depends on what you're growing. For something low like strawberries, you may only need about 3 inches. But for taller plants like tomatoes, you might want supports closer to 36 inches. Just remember that the overall height will increase later when we add the garden hoops that support the netting over the top. It's time to start cutting. Clean, straight cuts. Next, we'll dry fit the lower PVC frame together. Use 4 3-way elbows for the corners to form the rectangle. Then, place a PVC tee in the middle of each long side. These tees will hold the vertical support pipes that help prevent the frame from sagging. Next, insert the vertical support pipes into the openings of the corner fittings and the center tees. These supports determine the working height of your frame, so you can adjust them depending on what you're growing. For lower plants, like strawberries, shorter supports may be enough. But for taller crops, like tomatoes, you'll likely want more height. Keep in mind that the final height can still be adjusted later when we add the garden hoops that support the netting over the top. Next, we'll dry fit the top section of the frame. Connect the upper pipes across the vertical supports to form the top rectangle, using elbows at the corners and tees centered along the long sides, just like the lower frame. For now, we're only dry fitting the structure, so we can confirm everything lines up properly before permanently securing the joints. Before gluing anything together, place the PVC frame directly on top of the raised bed to confirm the fit. The bottom pipes should rest evenly on the wooden edges of the bed. If anything needs adjustment, now is the time to make it before applying PVC primer and cement. Once you're satisfied with the fit, it's time to permanently secure the joints. Start by lightly sanding the ends of the PVC pipe. This helps the primer and cement bond properly. Next, apply PVC primer to the outside of the pipe and also inside the fitting. Then, apply PVC cement to both surfaces. Finally, push the pipe firmly into the fitting to complete the joint. Repeat this process for all PVC connections in the frame. At this point, you may want to paint the PVC frame any color you prefer. For this project, we chose black to give the structure a cleaner, finished look. If you decide to paint your PVC pipes, it's best to remove the pieces and spray them away from the raised garden bed area so paint does not contaminate the soil. Once the paint is completely dry, you can place the frame back on the bed and continue with the next step of the build. The next step is preparing the holes that will hold the garden hoop rods used to support the netting. Begin by drilling pilot holes along the top of the long PVC pipes using a 1/8 inch drill bit. Start about a 1/4 inch away from the elbow fitting, then drill additional holes every 6 to 8 inches along the pipe. Once one side is complete, measure and mark the same spacing on the opposite long pipe so the holes line up evenly across the frame. After the pilot holes are drilled, switch to an 11/64 drill bit and enlarge each hole in the same locations. If desired, you can touch up the drilled areas with a little spray paint to maintain the finished look. In step 1, you'll need 2 garden hoop rods and 1 plastic wedge connector piece to join them together. In step 2, push the wedge into the end of the rod. This same wedge piece will also be used on the end that inserts into the 11/64 inch hole we drilled in the PVC pipe, helping hold the rod securely in place. In step 3, insert the rod with the wedge into the drilled hole in the PVC frame. In step 4, repeat that process until all of the rods and wedges have been inserted into the PVC structure. Once finished, the frame should have evenly spaced curved supports running across the garden bed. As the rods bend upward, they begin forming the curved support structure for the netting. One advantage of this system is that the height of the arches can be adjusted. By raising or lowering the rods in the holes, you can make the curve taller or shorter as your plants grow and begin reaching the top of the structure. Now it's time to add the garden netting. Simply drape the netting over the hoop structure and spread it evenly across the frame. Once it's positioned correctly, trim any excess netting so it fits neatly around the garden bed. If you'd like the frame to stay firmly in place, you can install PVC pipe straps on one side of the wooden bed to anchor the bottom pipe. This keeps the structure secure while still allowing the opposite side to lift for easy access to your garden. And that wraps up this project. I hope you enjoyed it and that it helps protect your garden this season.
Visit imaginethatdiy.com, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to support the channel, use the link below to grab us a coffee. It's always optional, and it just helps us create more new content. Keep it simple, silly.